Volodymyr Zelensky is losing the support of the West. The Ukrainian president's response to the Poland missile incident highlighted tensions with some Western leaders at a time when the risk of war fatigue is growing. The first reports of the suspected missile strike in eastern Poland on 15 November were distinctly ominous. There had been an explosion in the village of Przewodów near the border with Ukraine. 2 people had been killed. Russia was thought to be responsible. The Associated Press cited a senior U.S. intelligence official as saying that Russian missiles had crossed into Polish territory. Poland's government ministers rushed into an emergency meeting of the National Security Council in Warsaw. Polish military units were ordered to a heightened state of combat readiness. If the strike was found to be deliberate, it would mean that Russia had attacked a NATO member, which could then decide to invoke Article 5 of the alliance's treaty, according to which an attack against one member is considered to be an attack against them all. On the other side of the world, the U.S. President, Joe Biden, who was attending the G20 summit in Bali, was woken by his aides. In the early hours of the morning, wearing a t-shirt and looking distinctly sleep-deprived, he spoke by phone with Poland's president, Andrzej Duda. Soon afterwards, Biden and the leaders of the other NATO countries at the summit, including the British Prime Minister Rishi Sunak, German Chancellor Olaf Scholz, and French President Emmanuel Macron, gathered. A photograph of the meeting showed the leaders huddled together, their facial expressions uniformly tense. From the outset, Biden urged caution, pointing to preliminary information about the missile's trajectory and questioning whether it could really have been fired from Russia. The Polish Prime Minister, Mateusz Morawiecki, also warned against jumping to conclusions. "I am calling on all Poles to remain calm in the face of this tragedy," he said in a late-night press conference. "We must exercise restraint." Within hours, it was clear that the early reports were wrong and that there had been no Russian attack. Investigators concluded that the missile was likely a Soviet-era S-300 rocket fired by Ukrainian anti-aircraft defenses in response to the Russian airstrikes that had pummeled the country throughout the day. "This is not Ukraine's fault," stressed Jens Stoltenberg, NATO's Secretary General, who is interviewed on page 24. "Russia bears ultimate responsibility." Yet the incident laid bare the usually subterranean tensions between the Ukrainian government and its Western backers. Speaking on television on 16 November, Volodymyr Zelensky, Ukraine's president, insisted that it was not our missile that struck Poland. He said that he had been personally briefed on the issue by his military leadership, and that he had no grounds to doubt them. When asked about Zelensky's comments on his return to the White House the following morning, Biden responded curtly, "That's not the evidence." "This is getting ridiculous," an unnamed diplomat from a NATO country told the Financial Times in Kyiv. "The Ukrainians are destroying our confidence in them. Nobody is blaming Ukraine and they are openly lying. This is more destructive than the missile." Zelensky subsequently adopted a more equivocal approach, sending investigators to Poland and conceding that he did not know 100% what had happened. A Ukrainian Air Force spokesman acknowledged on 18 November that it was possible that at least some of the missile fragments had come from Ukraine as he described an intense battle to defend the country against the Russian bombardment. Washington has also taken a cautious approach to the supply of long-range weaponry to Kyiv, such as the Army Tactical Missile System, which it has refused to send, although it has provided HIMARS and other powerful rocket systems, wary of facilitating strikes deep into Russia that could be viewed by the Kremlin as crossing a red line. As Biden has reportedly reminded his aides at regular intervals, "We're trying to avoid World War III. The post-Cold War era is definitively over," said the Biden administration's national security strategy, released in October, and a competition is underway between the major powers to shape what comes next. That contest is already taking place in Ukraine. The West's capacity to stay the course and sustain Ukraine's ability to fight will determine whether that order is shaped by liberal democratic principles and international norms, or a world of great power rivalry in which might makes right and Putin and his fellow autocrats learn that they can take what they want with enough force. Until next time, take care.